On the hip pieces, there's really no notching and everything. All the water's running away from it, and there's no metal underneath it. So basically you need to find the center of the hip. And I just kind of laid these out. You can use soapstones, a little easier to use. We want to see you cut this with a shear and not a saw for a lot of reasons. One reason, it's a lot better and easier if you cut it with a shear. The other reason is it kind of wraps the coatings. It takes the galvanum coatings and try to wrap them over the edge just as it does when you do it with a pair of snips. When you do it with a saw, it leaves the substrate metal exposed, and it promotes premature rusting of the substrate metal. Okay, once I get the shingles cut to somewhere around the center of the hip, you can go over a little bit. I like to cut it pretty close to the center. It keeps the ridge from going up and down as much if you cut it a little bit short of center. After you get that placed on with both sides, of course, just take some type of peel and stick, window wrap, and go over the center of those pieces. Sometimes you can take that and slice it if you want it to create a better to make it stick a little better on these gaps. This becomes pretty important when you have wind-driven snow and stuff. So you want to install this somewhere between 4 and 5 inches. That way it's not sticking out the side of the cap. You don't have to worry about trimming it off. And then the first cap on the bottom, you want to leave it hanging over. You want to draw the line where it folds around the end, fold it under the edge, lock it against the edge of the roof, and then and because there's a very small locking mechanism on the inside of this, it's got a lock to the next shingle below it. If you try to go and change directions with this, one side will lock and the other side will not. You can't change directions as you're going up the hip. So after you get the rubber on it, chalk a single chalk line in the very center of that shingle and use it as a guideline all the way up, and that'll keep you from having to adjust it. So these fasteners should go through the rubber, and then lock the next piece to it, pull it up tight. Again, don't hammer on the front of it, but hammer on the back lock if you need to make it a little bit tighter. Make sure these go through the rubber. When you're putting these on, because they're stepping up shingle to shingle, it creates a void right in here. That's why it's important that these fasteners get put through the rubber, so if any wind-driven stuff gets up underneath there, it doesn't get to the thread of your fastener. continue that all the way up the roof. And you do the same thing across the ridge. Okay.